All right. So under coupling section, under tractor, the first thing is airline electric cord, right? So we're simply going to tell the man from the state that the blue service line and the red trailer air supply line are permanently connected to the truck with air fittings. Those air fittings should be tight, not leaking air. Right? The electric line on this tractor is permanently attached to the tractor. It's not a plug-in like this. It's permanently attached.
Okay.
All three lines should be at least 6 inches above the catwalk. Right? The airline itself, the airlines should not be cut. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts. No illegal splices. No tape. The description, the condition of the electric line. I like B, B, C, C, F, T, so no, not burnt, broke, cut, cracked, taped, or frayed. That would describe all damages, right? Burnt, broke, cut, cracked, taped, or frayed. You can't repair an airline; they have to be thrown out. I mean, an electric line. Okay. A1 condition, factory fresh. The airlines connect to the trailer by way of glad hand and air fitting. The glad hand and the air fitting should be properly mounted, secured, and not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking air because there's air inside. The glad hands here and the glad hands on the trailer also have a rubber grommet. The rubber grommet's job is to keep air in and water and moisture out. Right? It should be soft and pliable rubber, not cracked, torn, broken, missing. The glad hands connect to each other at a 90-degree angle and then rotate down. The electric line has 7 holes for 7 pins. It's inserted into the electric box on the trailer and it's held in place with a locking latch. All that should be properly mounted, secured, and not broken, cracked or broken, right? Even the box, the electric box. 7 holes for 7 pins. This should be free of corrosion so electricity can flow. If there is corrosion, you clean it up and then you put white lithium electrical grease on it to keep corrosion from happening. So that should give me the box checked under tractor, because I talked about how the lines are connected to the tractor. And then that should give me the box connected, checked under trailer, because I talked about how the airline's electric cord connects to the trailer. Now, what's the next box under coupling under tractor?
Fifth wheel, right?
The fifth wheel pins, locking pins, right? So these are the fifth wheel locking pins. It's a sliding fifth wheel. These locking pins should be out in the lock position. You can make them retract with a switch on the dash. That switch would send air here, and then that piston would operate, and these would retract. And when this is hooked to a trailer, you can lock the trailer brakes and pull up, and this fifth wheel would slide back. Only one more notch. Or you can lock the fifth wheel on the trailer brakes and back up, and this fifth wheel would slide forward. And then you could let go of that switch and the locking pins would go back into the lock position. These should be in the lock position. And in parentheses after that it says clearance. So if I decide to slide this up, I got to make sure I got enough clearance between the front of the trailer and the tractor to make turns. I want 3 foot of space between the front of the trailer and the back of the tractor, so that when I make turns, the corner of my trailer doesn't hit my tractor. You can't have it too close. But then I also want clearance between the mud flap and the landing gear, so that when I make turns, the mud flap and tires don't run into the landing gear. Right? And what's the next thing on the test? now. The mounting bolts is the first one, really. So all these are mounting bolts. All these bolts and these nuts are screwed on here. Okay? So all this is the fifth wheel platform. All this. This is the fifth wheel. All this other stuff is the platform. The platform's held to the frame with these mounting bolts. That's what it says, mounting bolts. So we're just going to say we want all our mounting bolts tight, present, none missing, properly mounted, secured, right? Not stripped. So to get the box for mounting bolts, we're talking about all these mounting bolts. And these, right? These. So all these are mounting bolts that attach the fifth wheel platform to the frame of the truck. What's after mounting bolts? Huh? So the platform is everything else other than the bolts. All this is a platform. All this stuff, right? So we just want him to know that we know the platform is secured to the frame with mounting bolts. The platform itself should not be cracked, bent, broken, and no welded repairs. Next thing. Okay, so if you look back here, out of here, when you back this up and hit the kingpin, that piece of steel right there, there's going to be a lever that comes out and goes across to keep this wheel connected. So there's a locking lever that comes out. We have a lever. There's also jaws. Some type of fifth wheel have a thing come out from one side and the other, and they make like a jaw, right? But we're not going to talk about jaws. We use a locking lever. Just a single piece of steel, straight, that comes out. So what I would say on my pre-trip is I would look underneath and make sure my locking lever is out in the lock position, connecting my tractor to my trailer, my fifth wheel to my trailer. Okay. So I want my locking lever out in the lock position, connecting my fifth wheel to my kingpin. Okay. That's all that is.
No slack, Tim?
Huh?
No slack? Don't mention that?
Well, you don't want a lot of slack. So sometimes when you put it in first reverse, like maybe the yard truck over there, you feel a bang, right? So it's not real tight to the shank, the skinny part of the kingpin. So there's some slop. So locking lever in the lock position, and I don't want a lot of slop with my fifth wheel. Okay. Next thing, release arm. So this is the release arm here, that right there. So when it's hooked up and the lever is in the lock position, the release arm should also be all the way in the lock position. Not cracked, bent, broken, properly mounted, secured, but it should be in the lock position. And on the test, it talks about a safety latch, right? Release arm. Release arm and safety latch. We cross out safety latch because some locking levers have a little latch here. And it's like a pivot, and it goes like that, right? So you would have to lift it to pull this out. But we don't have a safety latch. This is just designed to lock in the out position when you get it out enough. Then when the kingpin shank hits that steel there, that's going to release this handle so it goes into the lock position. It's going to bring out the locking lever that we don't want any slop in. What else? What's under locking lever? What's under release arm?
Fifth wheel skid plate. We talked about that.
The fifth wheel skid plate is this. The top of the fifth wheel. Properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no welded repairs, and properly greased. So that when we turn, it doesn't bind. Dry metal on dry metal. You want it to turn smoothly, right? So our skid plate, just say my skid plate should be properly lubed or greased, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no welded repairs. It's the top of the fifth wheel. Top. Next. Okay, so now let's talk about the things on the trailer. What's the first one? There's three things,
Oh,
right?
the electrical connection.
Well, we already got that box because we talked about how those things connect to the tractor. Then we talked about how they connect to the trailer. We talked about their condition, 6 inches above the catwalk, the corrosion, the pins, and all that, right? So we got them 2 boxes at that time.
Okay.
And then what's left?
The kingpin, the apron on the back.
Okay, so let's go over here and look at them. The kingpin is what sticks down out of the apron. The apron is this big piece of steel that's attached to the bottom of the trailer. So it goes all the way across, right? And you can see where the apron pivots on the fifth wheel by the shape of the grease, right? So the apron should be properly mounted, secured to the bottom of the trailer. It should be well greased, not cracked, bent, or broken. Maybe no excessive holes, rusted holes, or excessive rust, or falling off the darn trailer, right? The kingpin is what sticks out. That's the kingpin. The shank is the skinny part of the kingpin. That's what the locking lever goes in front of to keep the tractor hooked to the trailer. And then it says gap. So when your trailer is connected to your tractor, when you bend over and look, there should be no daylight, no gap between the skid plate and the apron. Otherwise, the kingpin could be sitting up top, on top of the lever, right? We want it sitting flat on that fifth wheel. No gap, no daylight between the apron and the skid plate. So those are the facts that you got to convey to get him to check them boxes, right? So memorize the 11 things under coupling. Then figure out what you're going to say to get him to check those boxes.